A warm welcome back to the Forensic Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe. Just want to bring you in on some detailing. No, this is not my Red Peril. This is a Boxster. This is Dan's timeless classic Porsche 986 Boxster that I'm machine polishing to try and get it better. Now, this car is bad. I mean, it probably looks awesome on camera. Some bits of this have been polished, not the wing though. So even that wing probably looks amazing. What are you polishing that for? It's amazing. It's not. And none of it's amazing. Often with the paint on these, now you're seeing the light, you're probably seeing some stuff. The paint work on these cars is, you know, these are 26, 27-year-old cars. So most of them have been repainted. And they're not always repainted that well. This one's actually not too bad for what it is, but unfortunately it's just been washed poorly. And when you wash them poorly, you plaster them. Let's just go back to that main lens, which is a bit better. They get plastered in swirls. And this paint on this car is so bad that you can't really just single stage it and blast it out. Unfortunately, you can't. It just, I think, what I want to show you is that really this car just needs a little bit of time spent on it. And there's no, it's not like, it's just time. It's just time. This car needs a little bit more time, unfortunately. If you wanted to try and do the maximum amount of work you could in the shortest space of time, you'd go at this paint with wool. But, you know, wool and heavy cut compound, one heavy cut compound with wool, one finishing polish with perhaps not even S40, but maybe something like S30 or something with a bit more, you know, sort of cut to it on that finish, just to make sure you take out all of the heavy wool marring. That would be an option, but it's softer aftermarket paint, and I just think it's easier sometimes to just use foam, so you don't mar up the finish so much. So we've seen how bad it is. Now, let's just crack on. So we're going to be cutting with S3 Gold XXL, which is a nice, it's not the most aggressive. You've got a matting compound in the Shoal range, and S0. The smaller the numbers get, the more cut. You've also got an S2 Black and a whole load of other S2s, but S2 Black is the one to go for. Shock to cut's too aggressive, and S2 Orange, I think they got, but I don't know. It's quite complicated with the Shoal stuff. But S2 Black is probably the cutting compound you want to use. S3 is slightly less cut, but not, you won't be able to tell the difference. You wouldn't, I've got a whole fresh bottle of that, even though it's quite an old bottle. So it's really good stuff, S3 Gold XXL, mainly because of the buff and the gloss finish, which is one of the reasons I like it. Very good polish, actually. I don't know why. I suppose abrasive technology moves on. But what we're trying to achieve here, really, when we've masked up the stuff on the car with masking tape, but when we're trying to really improve this paint, we've just got to go back to basics, really, and take our time and just make sure that when we do our set, we really let the machine go at that panel and cover everything, because it's so heavily swirled. If you go fast and you're not consistent, you'll see loads of little patches of swirls afterwards. So I'm just going to show you the polishing set. Just make sure you can see all of that. Yeah, let's just pan that way a little bit. Okay, so we'll spread the polish first of all on a nice slow speed. Okay, so now we can't chuck anything around. We've got a good film, it's not too thick. You can put a bit more compound on, but that's absolutely fine. When you start working a cutting compound, it will be white and opaque, and the more you work it, it will start to grease up a little bit and thin out and go a little bit translucent. When it starts going translucent, it's breaking down and it's delivering less cut, but just giving you that kind of gloss. But once it starts breaking down, you're getting diminishing returns in terms of cut. So let's go with our set. With a 4-pass set, we're going to be pressuring into the paint a little bit to make sure we really maximise the cut. And we're going to be working quite slow as well. And we're going to be doing a shoulder set, shoulder width sets, you know, distance. On top speed. Putting a decent amount of pressure on this. Not enough to dink the bonnet. Yeah, this is not a good back position. Just going to stand up a bit straighter. It's starting to grease up now and break down. We'll just try and get all the way up to that edge. Just going to speed up a little bit now. Okay, I don't know if you can see on camera that sort of breakdown effect. So we're just using sort of soft edgeless terries here. And the buff, I'm just going to leave that little edge of polish as well so I know where I've done. And we will be, once we've finished and we're happy with our level of cut, we're going to go back over this panel with a 6-inch pad on a on the XFE machine where we don't need the cut, and we're just going to whiz over it for gloss with over there, you see. If we take our thing now this is the problem. I don't think we're going to have an acceptable, except just getting some more polishing oil off. Still got bits around that badge because I've got to polish over it all again, my final wipe down. I'll make sure I get it all off. I don't think we're going to have an acceptable level of finish here. Oh, no, we haven't, no. Yeah, so this really needs 2 sets. So this is a big improvement. See that? I mean, it's a massive improvement, but it's not enough for me. It's not quite enough. Up here is 2 sets, and it's just better. It's not flawless. You won't get paint this scoury, you know, this scour paddy. You won't get it flawless, but you'll get what looks, you know, when you're polishing it like this under lighting, you see everything. You see the texture in there. You see how well the prep was. You can see little kind of, you know, little micro dots in it and all that sort of stuff. But once this is cut properly and those swirl levels lower and it's polished up to a shine with the S40, and you get it out from under that light and get it outside, you know, it will look lovely. It just will never be flawless, but much better paint on this. Much better paint generally than my car. My car's just terrible. This has all been painted, and it's all been painted at the same time because the colour match is good, with the exception of the side skirts. Actually, you can probably see that on camera, can you? Probably can't actually, but out in light, I don't think the side skirts were painted at the same time. We've had the front bumper painted, so that's lovely, and we've had that bit there painted there. So I don't need to cut any of that. I'll just whiz over that with the finishing polish. But yeah, the reality is I've got to do something I don't like, which is 2 sets of cutting all over this car, because suddenly we're doing 3 sets of overall polishing, so the time it takes to get there is a bit longer. But that is offset by the fact there's no roof to do, and it's quite a small car. So yeah, this is a lot cleaner than it was, but I've just got to take all this fluff and gumph off of it, so it's all, you know, it's all nice and black, and then maybe put some sealant on this this. Yeah, it got covered in like white fluff, like someone had wiped it with a cotton towel that released all the fibres and left them in the thing, which is probably exactly what's happened. So yeah, when you're cleaning the soft top, you really just want to, you don't want to sort of like rub it with a towel because you're going to rip the fibres out of it. You just want to kind of, well, we've done a video on that with Ian, but yeah, use a Topeka brush like there, some APC, and rinse it off. And you can rinse it off with a pressure washer. You just come right back. Like a pressure washer about 1 metre away has no real kick. It's when you get close to it that you can obviously damage the fabric and the stitching and puncture it and all that with the pressure washer if you're not careful. But if you're careful, you just come right back and just sort of just do a rinse with it. And that little bit of extra push that you get with the pressure washer is actually handy for just washing off the detergent. Yeah, so that's what's going on here today. There's a couple of interesting things, actually. There's a couple of interesting things. There's a little, it looks like a spot of, it's harder to see now, but that was it looks like almost like someone's put super glue, a dot of super glue has dried on the car. And I tried to break it down chemically with adhesive remover, and none of them, even the strong ones, are touching it. I don't want to pick at it because I'm worried it might be blistered clear coat, or clear coat that dropped onto the paintwork when it was being done. So I could just sand through it, but then if I go through it and it kind of cracks up, then I'll have a hole in the paint. But a little bit of missing clear coat might be better than that. But after cutting on it, you probably can't even see it. Yeah, but I think if in doubt, just leave that. Personally, because it's not my car, and it's probably best to just leave that, and Dan can pick at it if he wants to. Yeah, so unfortunately this is all got to be cut. So really my plans are, I'm a bit short of time today, today my aim is to get that wing cut, get all that bonnet cut properly, get that other wing cut, and then whiz over with S40 over all of that and the front bumper, and then like the front half of the car is kind of done, and then tomorrow I'll double cut the rest of the car and then get the finishing, get it polished. It's kind of a bit of an oddball situation today. I haven't sort of had a full day on it, started late on it because I was doing some other stuff, so it's thrown the time out. But really my total polishing time on this car is probably going to be about 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, and it's a candidate for more, but it will look great from a certain level, you know, it looked great. The thing with these cars is, if this was like OEM level mint paint, again, you can get a bit precious about them. With this car, we got intact paint and it's all consistent, and it's not faded, and it's relatively fresh. It's just not the best paint job ever, but it's far from the worst. It's far from the worst. In fact, out of all of the ones, if you went and bought a red 986 Boxster, if there were 100 of them in the country and you could line them up and rank the paintwork on them, this would probably be in the top 20, I think, because it's relatively intact, which is nice, and it'll be very shiny when it's done. But it just won't be swirl free, unfortunately, because you can only dig so deep. And my rule of thumb, and we've discussed this in depth on the channel, is if you start going beyond 2 or 3 sets of cutting, and this goes back to the paint depth discussion, you start increasing the risks. You're generally safe doing a set of cutting, aren't you? Although not always. It's a complex discussion. We've had that complexity. See how many times can you polish a car before damaging it. I think we did a video called that. Complex discussion. And really you need to get your paint depth gauge out. Problem with this car, it's all been repainted, so really even with the paint depth gauge, you're going to get a high reading. You don't know how much of that is clear coat, but typically if it's been painted, it'll have a decent amount of clear coat on it. So we'll go in and we'll do our 2 sets, and we're not having any problems, yeah, and we'll finish it out. Lovely car, this. Really like this car. For some reason I can't open the passenger door. Bloody passenger door won't open. I go in the car and I try the central locking. I've tried closing the door, unlocking it, putting the key in, pressing the little button on the dash. It does make a noise, it goes zzz, but it won't open. bizarre. It's just a little gremlin. These cars have got them. They have little gremlins. But I love this car. Yeah, really nice. You get a lot for your money with them, don't you? You get a real... I've already opened this door. Don't worry too much about that. It's all dirty again. I've got it all clean there. It's dirty again now. It's been driven out and about. I'll clean these down again. We're not going to refinish these seats because, yeah, there's a bit of wear on them, but they're done. This car's done 122,000 miles, and I think they're in the right condition for the car. If you repaint them, we could repaint them, make it look mint in there. That seat look mint, but I don't think it needs it. So it's work, isn't it, as well, for minimal gains. If it was my car, I'd probably repaint them. I've got all the guns and the spray now and the matte and satin clear coats to do it, so I'd probably just need to get some more Porsche black leather paint mixed up, and I could do the proper job on that. But yeah, maybe not. Wheels, barrels of this car were absolutely full of like brown heavy film in there, and I thought I was going to need to use an acid, but Auto Wheels did a phenomenal job on there. Got most of it out. The real rear wheels were worse, which was weird, but they're all curbed up, so I didn't do quite as good a job on these because they're going to get acid dipped because of things like that, or they're going to they'll need professional attention, so the barrels are a bit not quite as clean. Other than that, how did we prep the car? We just washed it off. I did the wheels first, washed the car off, pre-washed it, touchless, brushed it, did all the brush stuff over the touchless, rinsed off, contact wash, rinse off, clayed it with a clay mitt, the Rupes one, very quickly. Contamination level on the car was relatively low. And the paint feels nice and silky now. Pretty silky. Yeah, so I think the reason the contamination level was low is perhaps the respray wasn't done too long ago. You can see what I mean about a good respray though, can't you? Normally a terrible blowover, there's overspray everywhere in the panels. Look at that. It's all nice and tidy. Wherever this was painted, it was done nice and tidy, but it's just that prep and the finish of that paint that's not top drawer, but really good actually. Some elements of this paint job were really quite good, but then some elements are bad. It's almost like, I'll tell you what it's almost like. It's almost like a really good paint job with a gun finish. It wasn't flattened, but then it'd be more knobbly than this. It's just it's a bit textury, but not knobbly, not like orange peely, but a lot of texture in the paint. Very fine texture, like loads of dots and stuff, but not divots, just very fine texture. Yeah, almost like a flat gun finish or something. Bizarre. Maybe that's what it is. But it's pretty good paint, yeah, and this car will look phenomenal, guys. So I thought I'd just bring you in on a thing. So we'll go again there. And that second set is diminishing returns, unfortunately, but it's just because it's not quite there. We just want a little bit. You see that? It's just not quite there, and you probably can't see it. If I try and come back with the light, yeah, there's still a little bit too much of those little dotty textures and still too many swirls, so we just got to get it a bit more like... Well, I think that needs a second set as well, but this has had two. Just a bit more like over here, yeah. It just needs a bit more. You can see that's better, can't you? Not perfect. So yeah, I think 99% of people, from what I gather, when they machine polish their car, they want to machine polish it, and they want to just polish it on the machine once, if you get what I mean. Do a polishing set on every part of the car and you're done. That's why products like S20 are so popular, S20 or a mid-range product, whatever the equivalent is. Something that doesn't require you to go again. The difference in gloss between, say, S20 and S40 is virtually... if you were in the right light on really good clear coat and you were looking at that, I'm not sure if your eyes would be able to tell the difference. But if you look at, you'd have to look at reflections and the quality of the reflection, because the actual gloss reading, your eyes wouldn't be able to differentiate the difference, in my opinion. But you might be able to see from the reflection, like the image quality almost is just slightly sharper on a highly refined kind of paint job, in my opinion. But I'm not even sure if we put that to the test, if many of us could tell. But obviously, an ultra fine finishing polish is just the finest abrasives, and a mid-range one is, you know, a diminishing abrasive, lots of aggressive stuff that breaks down, but it doesn't ever get quite as fine as something like that. So that really will give you the dripping wet kind of finish that you want. But we'll do that quite rapidly. Going from that to that is really good. This combo works really nicely. We were talking about it many, many years ago. In fact, I think it was one of the first combos we demoed on the channel, S3 and S40. Technology hasn't really moved on with abrasives. I'm sure there's obviously been new abrasives being released, but these two products are still very high quality German abrasives, yeah, and I really like using them. There's not much, in fact, it's pretty much, the only thing I don't like about this product is this prehistoric bottle, but they've done away with that now. So once I finish that off, which will take some doing, we get the better ones. Those bottles are terrible. Yeah. Other than that, we'll be using our PXE 80. We're doing it all on the XFE, which is a force rotation cordless, which is that, and we're not doing it all, are we? We're using the XFE to finish off. We'll be using things like the PXE with the 1-inch spot pads just to quickly whiz over that. So actually I only need to put an orange spot pad on there, not a purple, with the S40. So I'll make sure I do that. It won't make too much difference, but yeah. There we go. I'm not doing anything with these headlights because Dan's going to put another set on them. Something's happened. Someone's probably buffed on them there. Like, that's curved, isn't it? Someone's buffed on them or something and melted it. It's the kind of thing I would do. Oh, one other thing that I can quickly bring you in on is I'm just putting some touch up in here. I just don't, it's harder to see now. I've put one coat of touch up in there and it's all sucked it in, you know, so you get the crater and you just got to keep going till you've got a hump rather than a crater. So with this touch up, you should probably, well, I've already shaken the hell out of it, but it's been, I don't know, it's been 20 minutes, half an hour or something. So these brushes are rubbish, but I'm just, because you've got to be careful because they'll drip because of all of the excess paint. So you don't really need any of this. You just need a tiny amount. I'm not a touch-up expert, but you see, even on the bottom of that, there's more than enough paint. Less with a chip that big. We want hardly any, and we're just going to dab a little bit more, and we'll come back and maybe even do it a third time. Can you see that? Till we get a nice mound. So you can see there we've got the mound. That will dry and it will suck back in, and we've got to keep going till it doesn't create a crater, and we've got a little mound, and then we'll flatten it off with a sanding daisy P3000 or P2000, P3000, and then we'll compound it. We could even use this, and yeah, it just takes your eyes off it. It looked white because it was down to the primer below, so it's good. Apart from that, yeah, I might need to do some touch-ups on the doors. They're not bad. Yeah, they just need a couple of touch-ups. I don't know if you can see there. I'll just do a couple of touch-ups. In fact, I might as well do those now. And there's no other stone chips on this car, which is what I was telling you about. So you've got a completely fresh painted front bumper, which is now looking fantastic. It's all smashed or, you know, compressed where it had been grounded out, not smashed. Look at that, it looks lovely. And that's all polishing I was there, don't worry about that. No stone chips at all on here, apart from that little one back there. So it can't have been done too long ago, the paint on this car. No stone chips here at all. You know, all intact paint that's going to just look really good when it's all done. Oh, there's a little bit, this needs, yeah, this is what I'm saying. There's a little bit of, almost like, what's going on there? So that's like clear coat, a patch of clear coat, almost like a blast of overspray or something. So I don't know. I think, was that a blend? No, it's not a blend. I don't know what's happened there, but that's a little puddle of clear coat that's onto the panel. So maybe a little bit of wet sanding just on that bit, just to try and hide that. But again, when it's outside, you won't see it. But yeah, really good edges. Whoever painted that, really good. No like bogies or anything. It's not bad paint. I wouldn't be too. If this was my car, I would love it, because I just do what I'm doing now. I just polish it up so it's nice and shiny. I wouldn't worry about all of the little, you know, getting in front of it with a microscope like I'm doing here. But you do when you're doing this. But normally when this car's done, it'll just look really nice and glossy, and it'll be a lovely car. It just needs a lambda sensor, this door sorting out. Whatever the hell's going on? It'll bloody open at some point. And really the two rear wheels have got some curbing on them. But yeah, I think Dan might already have a few people interested in it, because it is a lovely car. It's lovely. It's so nice. If you wanted a 986 Boxster, Guards Red, Aero kit, Gen 2 turbo twist, those they're not normal turbos, and sports seats, and a brand new convertible roof that's been put on it, that's in good nick. Just needs, I'll go over it and get all this fluff off it, the glass rather than the plastic, so that's never going to fail. Door cards are good. A bit of wear and tear on the interior. I put some paint on the steering wheel, so the steering wheel was all worn out, and it's just a lot better now. It feels smoother. I should really do the gear knob. I don't know why I didn't do the gear knob. I don't know why I didn't do that. Why the hell I had the paint out? Why didn't I do the gear knob? What an idiot. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you just enjoyed this. I'm not going to be filming too much more because it just slows you down a little bit, but it's enjoyable as well to chat to you guys and see what you're up to. So take care. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you soon. Let me know in the comments what you're doing, what you're polishing, what you've been up to, what your plans for the summer, life, etc. Adios, dude.